If you haven't checked out any of my other videos, we have so many coin and currency videos on the channel that show you exactly what to look for. So let's start off first with the Double Die Obverse on the 1944 Washington quarter. Alright, so here on the front of the quarter is what you want to look for, doubling on the lettering of the coin. So you can look for that with your USB coin microscopes, which I have available on couchcollectibles.com. Link is always below every single video in the description. All you gotta do is press that little gray arrow to the bottom of the right of the video to get to the description. Now you also want to look for that doubling here on the date as well, 1944 itself. So we'll also see doubling on the word liberty as well on the D mint mark. So always be on the lookout for that, and even on the designer's initials for the 1944 D mint mark. Look for that doubling also. Now on the S mint mark, again, we want to look for doubling on the lettering of the coin, but not just the lettering, also the date 1944 and the initials, you guessed it, on the S mint mark as well. So we're looking for that on the no mint mark, the S mint mark, and the D mint mark. But here is an S mint mark that has that doubling. Now this coin here is graded at an AU 55. So the coin grading scale goes up to 70. I've talked about coin grading in my coin grading video, so definitely check that out. Now, you know, this is a pretty good grade, but you know, it's not a mint state grade, and you know, it's also not a terrible grade either. So this coin here sold for around $70 to $75. So nothing, you know, too crazy, but you know, 75 bucks for a quarter. Now, if we look at a 1944S that is graded at a mint state grade, graded at a mint state 64, this quarter here sold for over $130. So, you know, pretty decent difference there, $75 to, you know, $135, you know, just based on the condition of the coin. So keep that in mind. Some are going to fluctuate in value depending on that grade. Now also for your D mint marks, you also want to look for a repunched mint mark. So here's an example of that taking place on the 1944 D Washington quarter. Now again, here is that quarter with the RPM, that D repunched mint mark, and this quarter here sold for a little over 25 bucks. So again, you know, nothing too crazy, but a $25 quarter. Now this 1944 D here sold for over $2,800. That's right, $2,800, and that is because the coin has an extremely high grade of a mint state 67. So that is where all the value is coming from on this coin. It doesn't have any types of errors or anything like that. And that is the same case with this $8,000 quarter. It is graded at a mint state 67 by PCGS. And again, that's why this quarter sold for over $8,000, is because of that high grade. And even a more expensive quarter, the 1944S, this quarter sold for over $14,000. Got some really nice toning to it. Mint state 68 grade. Like I said, coin grading scale goes up to 70, almost a perfect condition coin. So really hard to find something like this in this condition. Like I say, a $14,000 quarter. Now let's check out these other silver quarters that are worth money. On your Washington quarters, what you want to do is look at the lettering of the coin. So here's an example of doubling on the lettering. It's a double die obverse, meaning that there's doubling taking place on the front of the coin. Now this is a pretty extreme doubling here. We can see it on the L and the I and the B, E, R of the word liberty. And then also we see that on the phrase "In God We Trust." So we can see that doubling there very, very clearly. Very noticeable doubling. You really see it there on all the lettering of that coin there. And then also you want to look for that on the date. You can see it there at the top of the one, really. And really on the whole date, I mean, it's kind of noticeable more there on the 2 as well. So that is what you want to look for on the 1942. We'll look at some other quarters here as we go. But this first is a 1942 Double Die Obverse. So this coin has that doubling that we just looked at. Now it is graded by PCGS at an AU 55, so about uncirculated 55. And that is not like a mint state grade or anything, but it's definitely not a low grade. But this coin did sell for over $1,700. So $1,700. But bear with me, this next coin is the same exact coin, but this coin is graded at a mint state 64. So the only difference between this coin and the last coin is the condition or the grade of the coin. It's got a much higher grade. It's a mint state grade. They both have the doubling, and this coin sold for over $6,400. So we go from a $1,700 coin to a $6,400 coin just because of the condition. It's so important. That grade, I cannot stress it enough. Also, for the 1942, if you want to look at an even worse condition one, this is a 1942D with that doubling, and this coin sold for over $225 because it's only graded at an extra fine 45. So again, a $200 quarter to a $6,000 quarter, very large range in prices based on the grade or the condition of the coin. Also on your 1942, you want to look for a repunched mint mark on the D mint marks. So look for that. The D mint mark is going to be there on the reverse of the coin at the bottom below the reef. So look for that repunched mint mark on those coins. You can do that with a USB coin microscope, but that's not it. Also, if you turn your quarters over to the reverse of the coin, you want to look for doubling on the lettering of the coin. You can really see it here on all the lettering of the reverse of the coin. So really inspect your coins closely to look for those double die reverses. Now we also not only see it on the lettering of the coin, but also on the reef of the coin, as well as on the eagle's beak. So here's a few pictures kind of showing you the doubling there. We see it on the beak here, very noticeable type of doubling. And then again, we see it here on the reef of the reverse of the Washington quarter. So always be on the lookout for that. Really noticeable doubling here on the reef towards the D mint mark there. So that is really awesome. Be on the lookout for those. Let's look at a couple prices for those. This coin is graded at an AU53, so this coin only sold for around $90. But if we look at the same exact coin that is graded by PCGS at a mint state 62, this quarter sold for over $1,500. So a $90 quarter to a $1,500 quarter, very big difference in prices. Always be on the lookout for those, and never clean your coins because that will definitely devalue them. So don't think that you're going to make them look nice and pretty and be in better condition, because that's simply just not the case. When they go through coin grading, they go through high magnification, and they will definitely be able to tell you if it is cleaned or not, even if you can't tell it from a distance. So keep that in mind. Also on the 1942 no mint mark, we looked at the D mint mark. This is the no mint mark. You want to look for doubling on the front of the coin as well on the lettering. So always be on the lookout for that, as well as on the date 1942 itself. Be on the lookout for the doubling there as well on 1942. Now for the 1942 no mint mark, now this coin is solely valuable because it has a high grade of a mint state 67. So that's what's given this coin all of its value. The quarter did sell for over $5,000 as a result of that grade. So keep that in mind. It's going to be the very high grades and the different types of errors that are really going to give your coins some value. Now for the 1942 proof quarter, this is graded at a proof 68. So an extremely high grade, as the coin grading scale only goes up to 70. It's got some really nice natural toning to it as well around the rim of the coin. And this quarter sold for over $10,000. 10,000 buckaroos. That is insane. For the 1942 S mint mark, now again, that S mint mark will be right where the D mint mark was if you guys are new to coin collecting. And so this is the 1942 S. It's graded at an AU58, and it only sold for around $30. But again, if we go to the higher graded version of this coin, 1942S graded at a mint state 67, this quarter sold for over $4,000. $30 to $4,000. Huge difference. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe in the middle. Check out the videos to the left of me. And until tomorrow, I'll see you on the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.